This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This was the best week for Donald Trump in his first, 15 weeks. No, more than that. Since January 20th, he's had some good weeks and bad, but let's just face it. This was a wild week, and everything turned up Trump. We got a new deal with the UK, a new trade deal, and it's much better than the old deal. And I'll ask the same question I've been asking since April 2nd, Liberation Day. What are the Democrats, what is the media going to say when he makes new deals with all these countries and they're better than the old deals? What are you going to complain about then if the new deals with all the other countries are like the one he just made with UK and it's better than the old deal, better for this country, better for our manufacturers and farmers? What are you going to say then? Yeah, go ahead, throw this up there. I mean, what else do you need to see? This is the new deal. According to the Trump team, there's new $5 billion in exports now available to U.S. Companies. There will be $6 billion in new tariff revenue. The UK tariffs were 5.1%, are now 1.8%. The US tariffs are now 10%. They were 3.4%. You see this and you say, boy, Trump just rolled Keir Starmer. He just rolled the Brits on this deal. It's much better than the deal we had 6-7 weeks ago. So if he does the same thing with Korea, with South Korea, with Japan, with India, with the rest, with the EU, what are you going to say then, Joe Scarborough? What are you going to say then, Jake Tapper? I mean, what is going to be the problem with his tariff war if all the new deals, including the China deal, which they're working on this weekend in Switzerland, are better than the old deals? Seems kind of cut and dried to me. But that's just one of the items that turned up Trump this week, obviously. Letitia James, his sworn enemy, the crazy Attorney General of New York, is under investigation by the FBI for mortgage fraud. Yes, the ultimate in karma. There was good news and bad news for Tish, for Big Tish. They put up a statue of her in Times Square this week. That's the good news. The bad news is you might be going to jail, lady. You might be getting convicted of doing what you accused Trump of doing. I can't imagine how much Trump is loving that behind the scenes. We're going to get to his new U.S. attorney in D.C. Yes, another Fox personality. I swear to God, Trump does this just because he wants to stick it to the rest of the media and the Democrats. But this was just amazing. And of course, Joe Biden made it his first appearance, or I guess his first stateside appearance since the election. And it went about as well as you would expect. Nobody thinks this empty husk of a man could have served another day as president. And we have a interesting revelation, a scoop about the state of the Biden crime family. Apparently, the spigot has run dry. There is no more money coming in for this disgusting, corrupt family. We'll get to that. But the best, this could only happen with Trump in office. Yesterday, as we all know, we named a new pope. Yes, we have the 267th pope. Began with St. Peter, and now we have Leo the 14th. He's 69 years old. He's been around. He's been living in Peru. He's very articulate in at least 3 languages. He spoke French, Spanish, Italian, and Latin. He didn't speak English in his first appearance, but he did today. He is a Chicago guy. I didn't think it was possible. I watched a lot of the prognostications, and let's just be honest, the people who are predicting, the business of the Catholic Church, they're about as good as NBA experts and weathermen. at predicting things because nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, one person said this man, Pope the 14th, Robert Prevost of Chicago, would be the pick. Steve Bannon predicted this, but I didn't see any of these cardinals and bishops and experts on the church predicted we would have our first American pope in 2,000 years. We finally have an American pope. There's been popes from like 100 different countries, but not the U.S. There's a number of reasons for this that I've heard. One of them being they need to raise money, and they weren't going to name an African pope because there's not a lot of donations coming in from Africa. In the U.S., it's a different story. You got Catholics with money who will like this, who will support this, and who will pony up. That's one reason. The other reason, it's because of Trump. Like everything else in the world, everything that's happening in the world is because of Trump. And he's like Pope Francis. He's Pope Francis's guy, which makes me nervous because Pope Frank was a big liberal. He was annoying. He was talking about climate change and, of course, about immigration. Now, Pope Leo is, of course, a supporter of open borders for the U.S., not for the Vatican, just like everyone else who lives in the Vatican. They love those 40-foot walls. They have very strict immigration laws in the Vatican. They want us to open our borders, but they would never, ever open their borders. So, of course, Pope Leo is like Pope Francis. He has tweeted, he has talked about the cruelty of borders, of actually enforcing your borders, which is absurd. I mean, you knew this was going to be the case. I think Pope Leo is the best you could expect, particularly if you're American. It's a good day. It's a good day in the U.S. Here's some of the tweets that Pope Leo has retweeted over the years. He doesn't tweet a lot, or he hasn't tweeted a lot, but he has retweeted. And he retweeted, oh my God, is that Senator Chris Murphy? To my colleagues, your cowardice to act cannot be whitewashed by thoughts and prayers. None of this ends unless we do something. This was during Trump's first term. Robert Prevost retweeted. He retweeted a tweet about Bukele and Trump and their deportation efforts. Do you not see the suffering? Is your conscience not disturbed? How can you stay quiet? This annoys me to no end. Did Robert Prevost, does he know about Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungaray? Does he know about the number of gang members and terrorists that the Biden administration let in through our open borders? I just hate it when people talk about cruelty. You want to say, yeah, open borders, we need the cheap labor, we need people to pick the strawberries, as many Democrats have said, fine. But don't tell me closing the border is cruel when you know that 300 children went missing under Biden, when you know that TDA has terrorized Americans and MS-13, when you know people have lost their lives to these gangs, when you know fentanyl's killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. You know what's cruel? Open borders are cruel. You know who is cruel? Joe Biden. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they are cruel. They didn't give a damn about the carnage, the death, the suffering of Americans, or the suffering of immigrants who gave up their life savings for the cartels to escort them over the border, and some of them drowned in the Rio, and some of them died in the back of big tractor trailer trucks. As Tom Homan has pointed out, he's held dead children in his hands who died trying to get over the border. That is cruel. Open borders are cruel, but Pope Leo, he's like all the rest of these Catholic clerics who want you to think it's somehow compassionate to have open borders. I can live with that. He's also on the record as opposing gay marriage and, of course, abortion. We don't yet have a pro-abortion. Bad news, Democrats. We don't yet have a pro-abortion Pope, maybe someday, keep your hopes up. Here's Pope Leo, quote, Western culture often seeks to promote sympathy for beliefs and practices that contradict the gospel. For example, the homosexual lifestyle and alternative families made up of same-sex partners and their adopted children. So he's not a fan of same-sex marriage or abortion. So he's like every other pope, every other bishop, cardinal. So far. You can hope maybe next time. You know what? He might be around for a while. Here's an interesting factoid. Pope Leo XIV is 69. Pope Leo XIII, who he obviously respects and honored by taking his name, was also 69 when he got the job. He lasted till 93. So I think, and obviously Pope Leo XIV, he looks like a pretty healthy guy. Looks like he's in decent shape. He might be around like for 20, 25, 30 years. So get used to it. Get ready for it. Interesting guy. Grew up in Chicago, went to Villanova, and then traveled all over the place. Went to Peru, became a Peruvian citizen. Speaks Spanish, speaks Italian. I mean, his Italian was amazing. When he was up there on the balcony yesterday, didn't speak English, even though the Americans are the ones who were going crazy there in St. Peter's Square yesterday. I guess today held a mass, spoke English. But isn't it crazy when you think about a guy from Chicago is the Pope? And Greg Kelly was talking about this last night. Think of this, people in Chicago, grew up next to the Pope. They went to high school with the Pope. They went to college at Villanova with the Pope. He's a Bears fan. He's a White Sox fan. He's a guy from Chicago. And a number of the TV stations, at least in Chicago, were looking for his friends, neighbors, his family. He's got two brothers, two guys who are alive. One of them's in Florida, I believe. One of them's still in Illinois. And they're just sitting there going, yeah. We always knew he was going to make something of himself. He became Pope. Pope's always been kind of this abstract thing. These Italian guys or Polish or Argentinian guy that you don't know much about. You don't think of them as guys who, grew up and went to school and rooted for your hometown team. Well, that's what this is. This is just so odd and so unusual. Like everything else in the era of Trump, you could sit there yesterday and say, wow, America, an American first, a Pope from Chicago who we've seen photos of him at baseball games and Bears games, and just a guy from Chicago. Do we have one of his brothers? I think we have John Prevost, one of his two brothers, talking about growing up. Yeah, he was always kind of into the whole church thing. We knew he was going to go into the clergy. Well, nobody thought he was going to end up being Pope. Check this out. Just the Pope's brother hanging out yesterday. I think in is this the guy from Chicago or Florida? One of the brothers. Check it out.
Brother from Chicago.
From Chicago. Here you go.
First of all, how are you feeling right now that your brother is the Pope?
It's too unreal. I haven't had time to think about it yet because this is what it's been since it was announced. The phone calls, the texts, the emails, the iPad stuff. So it's been nonstop. So really, I haven't had a moment to think about it. But it's totally unreal, totally surreal. And it's a tremendous, tremendous thing to take in, but it's something to be very proud of.
And you said you spoke to him right before conclave?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what that conversation was like.
Really? First we do Wordle, because this is a regular thing, okay? Then we do Words with Friends. It's something to keep his mind off life in the real world. And then we talk about what's going on, and I said, well, do you have your red socks? That doesn't go over well all the time. And then just that kind of stuff. And I said, well, are you ready for this? I said, did you watch the movie Conclave so you know how to behave? And he had just finished watching the movie Conclave. So he knew how to behave. So it's that kind of stuff, because I wanted to take his mind off of it, and laugh about something, because this is now an awesome responsibility.
Was there
Just that's the Pope's brother. I don't think I've ever seen an interview with the Pope's brother, at least not in English. But the guy is just a guy from Chicago. You half expected him to come out sounding like George Wendt in those SNL commercials with the Bears. Well, congratulations to Pope Leo XIV. Do we have the reception? This is a high school in Virginia. I believe it's in Arlington, Virginia. Here's the other thing: is there are the number of Catholics, people joining the faith in the U.S. is up. Another reason he was chosen, just to energize the U.S. market, if that's what you call it. But it is going to help recruitment for young people in the U.S. This is a Catholic high school in Virginia as they hear the announcement. Check it out.
Leo XIV, Cardinal Prevost, he's American.
Kids going nuts in America because the Pope is one of them. And I can't help but think of all the people saying, oh, Trump's isolating America, and people hate America now around the world because he's trying to make new trade deals. This must have annoyed the hell out of them. And like everything else, I judge things on how much it annoys the media, it annoys the Democrats, it annoys the globalists who want to isolate America and blame America. Well, bad news. Your new Pope is American, an America first Pope. You got to enjoy that. And, you can't expect a Pope to come out and say, yeah, build the wall. He wasn't going to come out with a MAGA hat on, but he did come out with the traditional veil, the traditional garments, which Pope Frankie never did. So it is, as many analysts say, a bridge from this crazy leftist to celebrated transgenders. I don't think that's happening with Pope Leo. So good luck to him. Maybe it will be. The rest of my life, he might be the Pope, the 267th Pope. There's been a succession of popes for 2,000 years. There's not many things in life you can say have been going on for 2,000 years. But I bet you the church attendance goes up. People are excited. I don't know. It's just an exciting time in America, and certainly exciting time here politically. Man, what a week. We got to get to Biden. What the irony is about Biden? He got elected because they kept him hidden, stayed in the basement, didn't do any interviews, held throughout his 4 years, did very few interviews, did very few press conferences. His wife, who is just an evil, rotten elder abuser, she protected him from the media because she knew he was ailing. He was struggling. He is struggling with dementia. So she kept him hidden, away from the media. And the best course would be to, as doctors say, make him comfortable. They have, beach houses. They have places he could go and stay out of the limelight and just live out his golden years. But they're not going to do that. They're going to keep pushing him out there. And we will explain why. It's no surprise. He went on The View, which is the softest landing spot, the friendliest interview that he could ever have. And it was, I'll just say, an absolute disaster. He is, of course, regressing. He is getting worse. And I'm not sure how much more they can put him through. It did not go well. And he certainly could never do another real interview with a real journalist. But they have a dilemma. They need him. The family, this scummy, filthy, money-grubbing family needs the big guy. And they're going to use him up as much as possible. but I don't think it's going to work. We'll get to Joe Biden on The View, and man, we got so much here to get to. Oh, ICE. They're listening to us, Ironhead. They're in Massachusetts now, rounding up illegals. We love it. And of course, there are people here trying to stop them. They're trying to get in the way. And hopefully, Tom Homan will do what he promised. He's going to arrest those people obstructing ICE. We'll tell you about that and more. But first,
Excuse me.
is the U.S. dollar in trouble? We're living in unpredictable times with digital currencies on the rise, a $35 trillion national debt, and inflation still at a 40-year high. Tesla billionaire Elon Musk has warned that the U.S. dollar is heading for destruction and that these factors could bankrupt the U.S. Financial experts are urging Americans to prepare right now. That's why you should strongly consider physical gold and silver to help protect your accounts like IRAs and 401ks. Preserve Gold is giving away a free precious metal guide that contains essential information on how to help protect your accounts. Just text the word Newsmax to 50505. Learn how you can put physical gold and silver into an IRA or a 401k and even purchase precious metals for delivery directly to your home. Preserve Gold has hundreds of 5-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions with satisfied clients. As an exclusive offer to our listeners, in addition to the free guide, you can also get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase. So don't wait. Text Newsmax to 50505 to claim this exclusive offer from Preserve Gold today. It's Friday. That means we will get to your comments and questions. Ironhead is going through them. He's going to, wow, we got a lot of comments there, Ironhead. You got your work to do. Go ahead. Ask us anything. Ask him anything. Ask Ironhead anything you want. And we'll get to that. And we will get to those ICE raids here in Massachusetts. Yes, it's happening. We're promises kept here. We are rounding up illegals, and we got a lot of them here. So Tom Homan and ICE have their work to do, and so does Jill Biden. Man, so does the Biden crime family. Here's their dilemma. They need him. They need money. They need to earn. Joe Biden wants to do speeches, and he wants $300,000 per speech. Nobody is paying Joe Biden to give a speech. I'm not sure why you'd pay him anything to give a speech. He can't speak. He was never very good at it, and now he's obviously 82 years old and struggling. He can't do it. He can't go on the speaker circuit. He can't even give an interview without just embarrassing himself. He shouldn't be out there. People often, Democrats love to mention, when we talked about Biden's dementia, they say, Ronald Reagan, he had dementia in his second term. Go ahead, show me a video. Show me a photo of Ronald Reagan struggling with his declining mental state. You can't, because he had a wife, Nancy, who protected him, who kept photographers and cameramen away from him. She didn't push him out there and say, let's get out there, Ronnie, we need to earn. She kept him comfortable. She kept him away from the cameras and the crowds, because that's what a loving spouse does. Jill Biden is not a loving spouse. Jill Biden is an awful woman, a terrible wife, just the worst kind of spouse. She doesn't care about this man. If she did, she wouldn't have shown up on The View with him there to clean up his drool and finish his sentences, because that's what she did yesterday. But I guess they're not going to just let it go. They're not going to let him live comfortably in his final years here before he leaves us, which is probably not that far off. But this was remarkable. Obviously, the View, they're just pathetic. They sit there and lie and tell you Joe Biden was a wonderful president, accomplished many great things, and Kamala Harris was a great candidate. But this was just, this was bad. This was really bad. He, of course, lost his way. And by the way, he came out on stage. He gave a hug and a kiss to the fake conservative there, Alyssa, and he just ignored everyone else and just sat down. It was so strange. He didn't go up to each of these hens and give them a greeting, but he sat down, and then they coddled as best they could. They gave him the foot rub interview that you expected, but it doesn't matter. Joe Biden couldn't handle a tough question from anyone, but he can't even handle the softballs. He can't handle the friendly interview like this was. Let's just, is this where she finishes the sentence? This was so bad.
You want that one first? I was going to go in order of him falling apart.
Okay, let's do that. We'll go in order of him falling apart. Is this when Joy, who sit there, she's literally like on top.
Kamala Harris. And
yeah. Kamala Harris, of course, Joe explained she only lost because, she's a woman of color. Because she was such a great candidate. People just didn't want to vote for a woman of color. Those people that elected Barack Obama twice, those people, they just didn't want to vote for a woman of mixed race, which was odd. That's what he called her, a woman of mixed race. Check it out.
But Mr. President, last time you were here was a little over a month before the election, and you had made the selfless and very difficult decision, I'm sure, to step aside. And Democrats were feeling optimistic about the vice president's chances of winning the presidency. But then election night came, and it was like 2016 all over again. Yeah. So why do you think the vice president lost, and were you surprised?
No. I wasn't surprised, not because I didn't think the vice president was the most qualified person to be president. She is. She's qualified to be president of the United States of America. Right. But I was surprised. I wasn't surprised because they went the route of the sexist route, the whole route. I mean, this is a woman. She's this. She's that. I've never seen quite as successful and a consistent campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country and a woman of mixed race.
Yeah.
And they played that to a fairly well.
That was at its best.
When did they do that? When did the Trump campaign, when did the Trump team play that to a fare thee well, that she was a woman of mixed race? It's the first time I've heard anyone say that. And when did they point out, you know what they did? They showed you Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was an embarrassment. Kamala Harris was the worst candidate for president, I was going to say, we've ever seen. The only one worse was this doddering fool who she replaced. She was a terrible candidate. Democrats even admit that. It had nothing to do with race or gender, sex, and he knows it. But he just, as always, just lies so comfortably. He is so detached from the truth, from reality. And he told the BBC interviewer that he had no problem stepping down because they accomplished everything and they did such a great job and he was such a success. Sure, that's why Trump got 77 million votes, because you were such a success. They brought him out first for a couple of just uncomfortable questions, and then the visiting angel appeared on stage. This awful, wretched woman. And I'm telling you, you just can't hate her enough. When you think about the role of a spouse for a person who is going through dementia, you see it. I've seen it. I went through it with my own parents. The job of the spouse is to protect that person, to help that person through this very difficult time. It is brutally difficult. It is hell on earth, protecting a loved one in this situation. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. She loves the power. She loves the fame. She knows that once he's gone, once he's, away in a nursing home where he belongs, it's all over for Jill, for Dr. Jill. It's over for her. So she is going to cling to this relevance as long as possible. She is just the worst example. This is a bad person, a bad spouse. But she comes out and, of course, keeps the gaslighting going. Let's just lie about how great Joe was. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mr. President, since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out, deeply sourced from Democratic sources, that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. In the final year of your presidency, what is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that. Number one. Number two, think of what we were left with. We were left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection. when I started. Not since the Civil War. We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic, because of the incompetence of the last outfit, end up over 1 million people dying. And we're also in a situation where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in the interest of time. And so we went to work, and we got it done. And one of the things and
Alyssa, one of the things I think is that the people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us, and they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, reading my book, and he was still on the phone, reading his briefings, just working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop. It's the White House. Being president is not like a job. It's a lifestyle. It's a life that you live. You live it 24 hours a day. That phone can ring at 11 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning. It's constant. You never leave it. And Joe worked really hard. I think he was a great president. And if you look at things today.
Oh, God. He's literally finishing his sentences for him, and then, of course, lying. Everybody knows that he did nothing after 4 p.m., nothing before 10 a.m. I mean, these books, they're obviously they're delving deep into this, but we knew that. We watched. We knew he didn't do press conferences or appearances. We knew he couldn't do anything at night. She says 2 in the morning. What did he ever take a call at 2 in the morning? The big question now for the country is who was president, because he wasn't. That guy sure wasn't. He wasn't running things. He would disappear for 3 days. He spent 40% of his presidency on vacation, and you didn't see him. He wasn't out front like Trump is every day. There weren't these Oval Offices press conferences ever. And she says he worked really hard. Well, Scott Jennings on CNN said, "Get ready. A bombshell is coming." Apparently, this Jake Tapper book that he wrote with Alex Thompson, which hasn't come out yet. We've seen a couple of books that reflect what a disaster Biden was. But this one, he said, it's going to rock their world, which is too bad because Jake Tapper was part of the cover-up. And now he's writing about the cover-up. And I hate to think he's going to cash in. But apparently, it's going to get worse for the Biden family. Do we have any more from Joe before we get to the big bombshell from yesterday about the Biden crime family?
Falling asleep in the middle of talking. You want that?
Yeah. Oh, she also talks about the debate and how she said it was a terrible night. She said after the debate he did great. She was out there going, "You did great, Joe." But they talked about what a disaster the debate was. And of course, Biden says he had a cold. That's why. He goes, "I had a cold, but I don't want to make excuses." All right, let's watch one more.
The projects, the benefits. How do you lead the world without having the best infrastructure in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best healthcare in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best education system in the world? How do you lead the world when you don't have that done?
But I want you to rack that up again, because the first how do you, whatever he said, I've seen it like 5 times. I'm still trying to figure out, what is this? What does he say in the first example of, things you have to do to lead the world? Play it again.
The projects, the benefits. How do you lead the world without having the best infrastructure in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best?
How do you lead the world with what? Was that
The last
this guy?
Structure or something.
Something about infrastructure. This guy was president 110 days ago. He was the leader of the free world. Shame on the Democrats for even running him for a day. Even after the debate, he didn't withdraw for another 3 weeks. He was still the candidate. He was gearing up for another debate. He was going to be on the ballot. because he's such a narcissist. And because of that evil woman next to him, they thought that they could shove him out there, until November 5th and somehow win re-election and then serve another 4 years. It is just madness. But here's why he's not going away. This is unbelievable. We've watched, we've heard, we've learned what schemers and scammers and crooks the Bidens are for 4 years. We know they made millions selling influence, selling access to him to China and Ukraine and Romania and many of our adversaries. We know just what grifters they are. We've heard chapter and verse from Tony Bobolinsky and other people involved. We've seen the laptop. We know what crooks, what a corrupt, venal old man this is. I love that. I tweeted about this and somebody responded, "Come on, leave him alone. He's just an old man trying to, finish out his life." No, he deserves no sympathy. He deserves no break from this. He's a crook. We know it. He's corrupt. He did unfathomable damage to this country, opened our borders. He spent $10 trillion. He caused incredible damage to this country. He should not see a moment's peace, even in his golden years, especially since they're going to push him out there and try to capitalize. But Mark Halperin, who is pretty wired into DC and things going on in DC, explains why you're going to see. By the way, the story is that he's going to get $30 million for his book. Why would anyone pay him anything for his book? Here's the only reason you would read a book by Biden or anyone around Biden, from Kamala or KJP or Jill, is if they're going to tell the truth. We know one thing about Joe Biden is he will never tell the truth. So you're going to get a sanitized version. You're going to get one lie after another. He said he's writing his book right now, and they told him it has to be done in a year. And he doesn't know if he could do that, but someone will help him get through it. There'll be a book. He'll get a lot of publicity. He'll have to go on tour, which will be comical, but his book is not going to tell you the truth. That's the only way Kamala Harris can recover politically is if she tells the truth. The only way she could sell a book is if it's truly accurate and honest. That's what Kamala has to do. Will she do it? If she's smart, she will, but she's not smart. Here's Halperin explaining why you haven't seen the last of this doddering old fool and his awful wife. Go ahead.
I talked to someone very familiar with the Bidens, and I think they've pointed out something that I'm going to say now that to me is the explanation, or at least part of the explanation, which is Biden Inc. has collapsed. All those Biden grandkids had a lavish lifestyle, which they very much liked. Hunter made hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Joe, as a former president, is not in a position to get the same kind of paid speeches, corporate boards, book deal. Biden Inc. needs a source of revenue. And Hunter does, even though he was pardoned and he's not going to prison, Hunter does not have great earning capacity. And you look at the rest of the family.
Wait. The paintings aren't worth a lot?
No, the paintings are not worth a lot. So what I'm positing for you guys to weigh in on, Dan first, is my source right? Is what at least part of this is about, is the reality that Biden Inc., the trough is empty. The spigot has shut down. They need a way to get back in the game to make big money, to have the grandchildren fed and clothed and flown first class, etc.
By the way, even if he's not broke, we know this family, their greed knows no end. They're not going to stop trying to cash in. They have been cashing in on the big guy, on Joe, for decades. They're not going to stop now. And he's right. They don't have anyone in the family who can actually earn a living. Hunter Biden has been selling access, has been selling his finger doodles, his finger paintings, all because Joe had power. He had influence. That's all gone now. And they have to earn, because that's their whole mentality. That's the way they've operated for decades. How can we make money? And I think they're running out of ways. I think he's going to get paid for his book, which will be awful, but that's the way it works. And they're trying to get speeches. And again, why would you pay a nickel to hear Joe Biden speak, other than the comic value What else is the point? Why else would you care? I mean, it's truly amazing. But again, no sympathy for this awful family and this awful woman. Oh God, Jill Biden is just the worst. All right, we got to move. We got to get to these raids. They are here in Massachusetts. God bless them. Tom Homan, get that lasagna ready for Tom Homan and his guys, because they are working hard to fulfill Donald Trump's promise to get these illegal aliens the hell out. And they're trying to stop them in Worcester. And they're getting arrested trying to stop ICE from doing their job. There it is. There's your lasagna, Tom, available whenever you're ready. And the latest Trump appointment is it's great. And I don't know if she's going to be good at the job. I don't know if she was the best candidate, but this is driving the media nuts. And, I'm all for that. We'll tell you about that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Are you a yo-yo dieter? You diet, you lose weight, you gain it all back, plus a few extra pounds. Then later, you lose it, regain it again and again and again. It's dangerous. You know this. Studies show that you can increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and other health problems. Breaking free of your yo-yo diet pattern is a main reason doctors created Lean. Lean is a supplement, not an injection, and you don't need a prescription. The science behind Lean is impressive. It's studied natural ingredients target weight loss in 3 powerful ways. Lean helps maintain healthy blood sugar, it helps control appetite and cravings, and it helps burn fat by converting fat into energy. Listen, if you're tired of losing weight and gaining it back, if you want to lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace, Lean was created for you. Let me get you started with 20% off when you enter Newsmax 20 at takelean.com. That's code Newsmax 20 at takelean.com. In DC, Ed, what was his name? Ed Martin, right? Yeah, Ed Martin. He was doing a great job. He's MAGA. He defended January 6th defendants, which, he's a lawyer. Of course he defended them. I mean, there's very few people who are willing to do that. He deserves credit. He's got guts. But he was not going to get confirmed because of a couple of rhinos led by this snake, Tom Tillis from North Carolina, who will pay a price for this. But one theory is he was taking the fall for others in the swamp because they knew Ed Martin was going to expose them, Republicans and Democrats. But anyway, Trump, he took it, he accepted it, said, yeah, I guess my guy, Ed Martin's not going to get confirmed. He doesn't have the votes. So he's reassigning him. He has another job, by the way, where he's going to be in charge of pardons, which is interesting, but he's still in administration and he should be. He's good because yesterday he was given an interview in DC and some crazy woman, white woman, of course, spit on him in the middle of the interview. Hopefully they found her, arrested her. But anyway, Ed Martin he withdraws the nomination, which is too bad. But I was looking forward to the fight. Withdraws the nomination, and you're saying, man, that's very unlike Trump to not welcome the fight and back his guy the way he did for all his cabinet nominees. But he reassigns Ed Martin. You're like, yeah, that's too bad. Tom Tillis wins. These swamp creatures, they win. But then a few minutes later, he names his new interim DC attorney, which hopefully will end up being a permanent position. Janine Piro, Judge Janine from Fox News, from the 5, big MAGA, big Trump supporter. She's been named as the new interim DC U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. At first I said, I don't know about this. She's almost 74 years old. She's obviously wealthy, comfortable. She has a great gig. I can't think of a better gig in the media than being one of the people in the 5, which is like the number 1 show on cable news. She's probably making a fortune. Trump tweeted out, posted, I'm pleased to announce that Judge Janine Piro will be appointed interim U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. Janine was an assistant DA for Westchester County in New York and then went on to serve as county judge, DA. During her time in office, Janine was a powerful crusader for victims of crime. Her talks about all her accomplishments. She's the co-host of The Five, the highest rated show on TV. She's incredibly qualified for this position. She's interim right now. She can stay for 120 days, and I think he can then rename her interim. I'm not sure for how long she could do that, but she may go in front of the Senate, and that will be great. The Democrats will come after her for everything and everything, and she's a fighter. She's loud. She's cocky. Those will be great hearings. So hopefully he will put her up for permanent U.S. attorney in D.C., and then the fun will begin. But anything, here's again, Trump, the difference in Trump 1.0 and 2.0. I don't think he would have done anything like this in his first term. He would have looked for a safer pick, a more acceptable pick. Now he looks down and says, what can I do to drive the media, the Democrats, crazy? And this was the choice. And she was immediately off the five. She's off the five in D.C., going to work. Seems like a lot of work for a 74-year-old woman, but she's got a lot of energy. She's pretty fiery. We'll see whether she's just going to be interim or she'll end up being permanent. All right, before we get to all the comments and questions, how many? Oh, we got a lot there. Ironhead, let's get to these ICE raids. I love this. We've been looking forward to this for months and months. ICE showed up in Worcester. God knows they got their work to do in Worcester, Mass. Here's from the local CBS station. 2 people were arrested in Worcester after a large crowd tried to stop ICE agents from taking a woman into custody. Video shows a group of about 25 people surround the car with the woman in it. Worcester police said they responded to the scene for a report of a federal agent who was surrounded by a large group. Police said the agents had placed the woman under arrest and were attempting to leave when the crowd tried to stop them. The crowd was unruly. Several people put their hands on federal agents. Police said a girl holding a baby stood in front of the car as it was about to leave the car with the illegal alien in it. She handed the baby off to someone else and then kicked the car. The girl was arrested on 4 charges, including endangerment of a child. They feel so entitled, like ICE agents are doing their job, arresting illegal aliens, trying to get them the hell out of the country, and they're trying to stop them by standing in front of their car. They arrested someone else for another woman. 38-year-old Ashley Spring was arrested for allegedly pushing officers and throwing an unknown liquid on them. She faces several charges, including assault and battery on a police officer. And you know what they say when they get arrested. What? I'm arrested? But, this is Massachusetts. We protect illegal aliens. Well, no, this is the federal government. This is ICE. This is the Tom Homan's guys doing their job. So they arrested at least 2 people who tried to stop them. And you know what? This is going to go on for 3.5 more years at least. They have so much work to do. And God bless them. These guys are heroes. All right, before we get to the comments, I want to give Paul Pierce credit. I love this story. If you're following the Celtics-Knicks series, the Knicks are up 2-0. They won 2 games in Boston. Both of they were like carbon copies. Celtics had a big lead. They blew it. They choked. Knicks won, came through in the clutch. Jalen Brunson, just amazing. Just he won the clutch player of the year as well. He should. He is so clutch. So Pierce, former Celtic, I guess has a show on FS1. I don't even know. After game 1, he promised if they would lose game 2, he would walk to work barefoot. Sounds like one of those things that I didn't think the Celtics would blow another lead and lose another game at home. They got issues. Celtics have issues. They've been outcoached, outplayed, and certainly outclutched. Anyway, Pierce said he would walk to work barefoot. He lives 20 miles from the studio, so you're saying he's never going to do that. Well, credit to Paul Pierce. He did it. He walked. He walked for 4. I get the number. Was it 4 hours it took him? He got up at 5 a.m. and started walking in his robe, barefoot, to the studio in L.A. Here he is, walking to work.
I guess the sound
I'm really walking up here like this. Man, I can't believe it. I got a long walk to go.
He said he left at 5 a.m. He said he got there at 1 p.m. He said he was sweaty and tired. I'm never doing this again, he said, but I feel like I accomplished something great. Hoping this can inspire my Celtics so we get back into series and pull 7 hours. It says it took him 7 hours to walk to work barefoot in LA. Credit to 33,000 steps he got on it. He got 33,000 steps. Credit to Paul Pierce. I think I would have just said, I was only kidding, but he didn't. He did it. And even, he got a lot of grief, people driving by, because everyone, lots of people hate the Celtics, particularly in LA. They must have just enjoyed the hell out of this. All right, let's get to an Ironhead. I know you're perusing all these comments and questions. Let me click on this and see what we got. God, I can't read those really, really long ones. Where do I start? The bottom or the top?
Whichever one you want.
If you watched The View with Biden, it's all Trump's fault. These people are so far off. They think they're the best and everything they did was right and okay. It is kind of comical watching them defend his record. His record is terrible. He was a disaster by every metric. Daquan says Trump is a crook who sold out his country. He's a convicted felon, sexual abuser who wanted to date his own daughter. Oh, sure. You got it. You nailed it. Oh, and right next to him, Biden, Gerry Garcia. Gerry Garcia. I thought he was dead. Biden is a crook who sold out his country to our enemies for money. He's not a kindly old man with dementia. He's a traitor who has committed treason. He was completely cognizant when he committed these crimes. I don't know about being cognizant, but he's definitely a guy who sold out his country. The Democrat oath, they swear to tell us a lie, the whole lie, and nothing but the lie, so help me, Obama. Okay. Kimberly says, I believe she needs to seek rehabilitation for what appears to be possible alcohol or drug addiction. Who is she talking about?
Jill.
Oh, no, Jill's just greedy. She's just evil. I mean, that's the only word for someone who does this to their spouse. Biden was waiting for his nurse to change his diaper and put him to bed. That's you, Jill. That's true. That's what that's what she's supposed to be doing. That's what a loving spouse does. Imagine how bad Biden is behind the scenes. I mean, he's bad in front of the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Dig into it and you'll find out Jill was the acting president. I think that's the most logical explanation. We're wondering who was running the country. I think it was her. I mean, she was doing
cabinet meetings.
It's true. They didn't even hide it at the end. You know what is cruel? The Vatican. The Vatican's cruel. Why is the Vatican cruel? Well, you know what? We've gone through that. Anyone tweeting about the commenting about the Celtics Knicks?
No, not a
It is pretty wild that the Celtics are down 2-0 because they're so much more talented, but they ain't clutch, unlike the Knicks. And the Knicks have a big home court advantage. It has become I thought it would be like the first round. I thought it would be boring, but it's not. It's a fascinating series, and the pressure builds. The Celtics have buckled under the pressure the first two games, and now the pressure builds. And we will be watching. It certainly makes for an entertaining second round series. Did you bet on this one, Ironhead?
I did not, and thank God. I would have been so mad. I would have been furious.
I'm just looking it up. What's the Celtics still favored? Let me check. I'm guessing
they were, but it was more even money.
It's funny because the Knicks, they get so many fans, so many crazy New Yorkers are so into this and thinking, they're going to the finals. But Celtics minus 5.5. Knicks at home getting 5.5. Wow. I don't know about that one. I think I might have to go with the Knicks. It's going to be close. It's going to be close, but Celtics will even it up. It'll be a good series. It'll go down to, the final minute every game, which is good. They need that. They need a little intensity.
I saw we're in the lead in this series for over 81 minutes, and the Knicks just like 9, and they're down 2-0 and lost two 20-point leads.
That's right. And it's great to watch. I mean, there's nothing better than watch guys perform under great pressure and see how they handle it. That's the amazing thing. Like, Jason Tatum's a spectacular player. He's one of the 3 or 4 best players. He can do anything. But under pressure, game 2, had the ball in his hand, and he just couldn't handle the moment. He went 1-on-3, got his shot blocked. He just didn't come through. And the fascinating thing is that's all they focus on after the game. It's like that one play, the pressure on, how did you do? It doesn't matter what you do all year. It doesn't matter what you do all game. It's what can you do in those final seconds that separates, Jason Tatum from Jalen Brunson, or Jason Tatum from Larry Bird, or Michael Jordan, or whoever. You have to come through in those final minutes. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. If you can't come through in that clutch moment, then you're always going to have this asterisk next to you. Even if you have a Hall of Fame career, even if you make $1 billion, if you can't come through in that final minute in a playoff game, you can never be truly great. And that's what's on the line here for a guy like Jason Tatum, and for the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. That's what matters. And we will be watching. It'll be great. But that will do it for today and for this wild week in Trump's world, man. And it's just going to get wilder. Cannot wait. A bombshell, according to Scott Jennings, a bombshell is about to drop on the Biden crime family from none other than Jake Tapper. That will be crazy. Can't wait. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we will do it again Monday morning.
The projects, the benefits. How do you lead the world without having the best infrastructure in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best healthcare in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best education system in the world? How do you lead the world when you don't have that done?